Oh, a microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, should be obvious to everybody. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
There I am. I am here, broadcasting from my basement bunker beneath Calorie. I was trying some new stuff this morning, and I got carried away here. Broadcasting from the basement bunker beneath Calo Radio. Welcome to the Fourth Hour. It is great to have you along. There are a few stories. The president will be meeting with Zoran Mamdani today at 2 o'clock. I think 2 o'clock Central Time, I believe. So let me check that again. But I believe it's at 2 o'clock Central Time that the two of them will be meeting. I mentioned on the air this morning that I was uncertain of the time. So let me check on that again. Yep. 2 o'clock this afternoon, the two of them will be meeting, and we'll see where it goes from there. All right. Also, the United States pushing Ukraine to sign a peace deal by Thanksgiving. Let's dive into this story. This is from the New York Post. And this is the 28-point plan. So either agree by Thanksgiving, so that's less than a week now. So either agree by Thanksgiving, or the United States will cut off intelligence sharing and shipments of weapons to Ukraine. So either agree to this deal by Thanksgiving, or that's it. The United States is out. Wow. So this is a big story this morning. And I don't think there's anything beyond that that is actually new. So the framework calls for U.S. recognition of the entire eastern Donbass region, which has been under attack by Moscow. So most controversially, Ukraine would have to limit its armed forces to 600,000 troops, would also have to enshrine permanent neutrality by pledging never to join NATO, and then codify that ban in Ukraine's charter. So this is a deal that Marco Rubio has been working on this. So then NATO in turn would have to promise not to station troops in Ukraine. And one source, this is a European official, said they want to stop the war and want Ukraine to pay the price. But again, that's what I would expect to hear from from European officials. But that is a big story this morning. I did not see that until after I got off the air today. That's at the New York Post. What else? They had another story that had caught my eye. Let me browse the New York Post. Oh, yes, Dr. Jeffrey Epstein. Remember, you had Jasmine Crockett, who mentioned this Jeffrey Epstein, and it was Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, that he had given money to Lee Zeldin. So now this Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, he is suggested. So again, Jasmine Crockett suggested he could be Jeffrey Epstein, the Jeffrey Epstein. And Epstein said, I think I should contribute money to Jasmine Crockett and then let everybody know that she also took money from Jeffrey Epstein. That is great. So Crockett had said on the House floor she was going to expose it all. She's going to expose it all after discovery that somebody named Jeffrey Epstein. And then she made the argument, and I talked about this yesterday, that she's out there making the argument that I didn't say Jeffrey Epstein. I said somebody named Jeffrey Epstein. She is just a piece of work. She is really good at getting her name in the news. I don't know that she is good at what she does, but wow. But I love this. Dr. Jeffrey Epstein. I think I'll contribute money to Jasmine Crockett and then let everybody know that she took money from Jeffrey Epstein. I love that sense of humor. Also, do you remember this, that pro-life influencer who went viral after she got punched in the face? She was doing interviews in New York City. And she's conducting man on the street interviews when she was struck by another woman in the face. And she is a pro-life activist. She hosts her own YouTube channel called Her Patriot Voice. So she went viral after she got punched in the face during a street interview. Alvin Bragg declined to press charges against the woman. And so now she has filed a lawsuit on her own. So she, in her suit, says she went to the emergency room for stitches after the attack. She incurred more than $3,000 in medical bills. Her attorneys say that she has knowingly, willfully, and maliciously continued to the woman who did this continued to mock reviews online in order to further inflict emotional distress. So she is gone to court. Since Alvin Bragg wouldn't press charges, she is handling it herself. So we'll see. That's a story I think we're going to see again in the news. So there have been plenty of people who have been slamming Alvin Bragg for his hand. I mean, he's just a train wreck. Trying to see if there were any other quotes from her that were worth sharing with you, but she's filed the lawsuit. She said she decided to do this because she wanted to send a message and hold her accountable. First, I'd really appreciate my over $3,000 in medical bills to be paid off because I should not be responsible for those. Second, it's to send a message, hopefully to show her that she can't do this again. You remember that video? She just, man, boom, pops her, right? She's asking questions. She's on the street asking her questions. And, man, she just pops her right in it. And she said, honestly, I hope that eventually she finds God. That's what I pray for. Because it's obvious that she's got a lot of deep trauma rooted and she takes it out on other people. I would like to believe that you've got people that are out there and it's deep trauma. Oh, I'm dealing with deep trauma. Yeah. No, I just think there's a lot of unprincipled people that are out there. You know, it's really kind of crazy as you watch this unfold. Trying to see what else I had for you. Again, the president, as I mentioned, 2:00 today, hosting Zoran Mamdani. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. I think pretty much, yeah, it's just, I guess the president, this is from a few minutes ago. The president told Brian Kilmeade, he said, I think we'll get along fine. So we'll see. Mamdani said he expected it to be a civil discussion. The president saying, I think we'll get along fine. I was hitting a little too hard, in all fairness, Trump said. So we'll see what winds up happening and whether that's anything significant winds up occurring from this. Also, James Comey. I have been fascinated by this story and I'm very, very curious to see what winds up happening with James Comey and the charges that he's facing. So this is new court filing show that former FBI Director James Comey's indictment was properly voted on by members of the grand jury. Because the story yesterday was, the grand jury didn't properly vote on this, and so this is not going to be moving forward. And you know what's been amazing to me is to watch the legacy media, lapping that out. They love that James Comey is not going to face that. That has been the story. He's not going to face charges. This was improperly filed, and so now we're not going to see this move forward. Well, it turns out, it was properly filed, and this. There are stories that are out there. Mike Davis is an attorney, and he was at one time, I think, a law clerk for Justice Gorsuch. Okay. So he said new court filings, including the grand jury transcript, show that U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan properly obtained the indictment against James Comey, despite the media's best efforts to misreport and cover for their favorite deep state actor, James Comey. So we'll see that moving forward. She did properly file. And I expect that James Comey's attorneys are going to try one trick after another to try to dodge and get him out of it. So we'll see where it goes from there. It was on September 25th, members of the grand jury voted on 3 counts against Comey, 2 for making false statements to Congress, 1 count of obstruction of justice. However, the jury failed to return a majority vote on one of the false statements charges, and so only 2 of the counts were returned. New York Post says, I don't want to get in. The rest of this just gets into a lot of details regarding the case. Also, this is Matt Vespa's got a piece, townhall.com. If you follow websites, townhall.com is one that I am on every day. So Matt Vespa says the procedural nonsense is over. The Epstein files will be released. Something the Democrats likely never planned for this year. They thought the Trump White House would dig in, Vespa says. Yet Trump signed off on releasing all the files, which I thought was brilliant. How do you take all of the air out of the room? Democrats are out there and they're venting about Epstein. How do you suck all the air out of the room? Trump did it beautifully. Said, okay, we'll release the files. So Congress releases the files. The Republicans jump on board. They're released. President signs it. Toot sweet. Boom. You've got now Pam Bondi saying, yeah, we're going to release all the files. Boom. You just suck all of the air out of the room. What is left? So Vespa says Trump signed off releasing all the files, which is what Democrats want. President felt confident that his team could shred any fake news narratives, which I think they've done a remarkable job at that. So the House and Senate easily passed the motion to compel the Justice Department to release the files on Jeffrey Epstein. And, did you see Hakeem Jeffries? I haven't talked about this, and I probably should have. Hakeem Jeffries, who was, I'm going to share this, understanding that those of you who are watching vertically likely are not going to catch all of this, but I want to share this because I actually want you to hear the audio. This is Hakeem Jeffries, and he was asked by a reporter, have you ever spoken to Stacey Plaskett about her text with Epstein? No, I haven't. Why wouldn't you? She and I have talked. It's a private conversation that will remain private. So he says, no, they've never talked. And then he says, they've talked.
Have you spoken to Stacey Plaskett after this controversy emerged?
I have not.
Can you confirm if there was a deal last night to sink the resolution against Congressman Plaskett in exchange for not bringing such a resolution?
We've
against
made clear
Congresswoman Lewis?
repeatedly we're not going to unilaterally disarm.
So you're saying there was no deal?
I'm saying we will not unilaterally.
Now watch this
disarm.
guy
Not
right
now,
here.
Not ever.
Mr. Leader, why wouldn't you speak to Stacey Plaskett?
I said I haven't spoken to her since the Central Resolution went down.
No, about this text controversy.
I have not spoken to her since the Central Resolution
Have you
went down.
talked to her about this text controversy?
She and I have talked, and it's a private conversation that will remain private.
One thing.
Wait a minute. First he says, no, they haven't talked. No, we haven't talked. And then and then he turns right around and says, yeah, we had a private conversation. This is why you can't believe anything that comes out of Hakeem Jeffries' mouth. I mean, this guy is he's being held up by some, like he is some political powerhouse. Are you kidding? Are you joking? I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. So he completely flips. He says, yeah, we have not spoken since the resolution. And then he turns around and says, no, we spoke in private. And that was a private conversation. I'm not going to share it. Just incredible what goes on in Washington. Hey, if you're not a subscriber of mine on YouTube yet, I hope you'll become one. Please, please do so. Otherwise, you have made it to the end of the video and the end of the week. So you are part of my gallery of champions. Special salute to the Bunker Brigade. Those are the folks that are here each and every day, commenting, sharing their thoughts. So it's great to have all of you along. I want to wish you a wonderful weekend. Until Monday. Next week is a short week. There will be a Greg Belfrage show next week. I'll be on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Of course, Thursday and Friday, no Greg Belfrage show with the Thanksgiving holiday. So the company gives us Thursday, Friday off. I'm going to take it. So it'll be a short week next week. So until Monday, my friend, I'm underground and gone.